Howdy folks, TJ here. Have my morning cup of coffee, and we're going to introduce and announce a new Facebook group that I've just started called, drumroll, 8-Bit Diary. And you're saying, what the heck's going on, TJ? 8-Bit Diary? You're just a Sinclair user. You don't use anything else. Untrue. If you've been watching my YouTube channel, you know that I'm originally an Atarian. I don't know if you can see that in the video. And as life goes on, you learn new things, you find new operating systems, you find new computers, and I've fallen in love with Sinclair. So in a quick number of years ago, I created the Sinclair Society on Facebook. Started as a party of one, and soon, it's now many years later. Well, how many years has this been? Maybe 2.5, 3? I forget. Over 1,600 members, all chatting about one of our favorite computers, the Sinclair computer line. Whether it's the QL or a Speccy, you name it, it's all about Sinclair. Now, the group was a little flexible, so if you had something 8-bit oriented that had something to do with Sinclair in a little way, we didn't say you couldn't post it. So it was pretty open, but we wouldn't want it to be like if you make Atari videos, like I do, slap in a link saying, hey, come look at my Atari video. I even didn't do that. I just didn't feel appropriate. Once in a while, if there was like a special situation that just kind of had an in, like Atari versus Sinclair or something like that, that makes sense. But it made me, what's the word I'm looking for? Yearn for a place to talk about everything else, including Sinclair. So I'm going to keep Sinclair Society as it is. It's a very fun group, very good group of people, and it's all about Sinclair. And one of my focuses, continue to this day, is Sinclair. That's not going to change. But I do also use a lot of other computers. And that includes, let me take a sip of this drink first. My first coffee drink of the day. Atari. Oric Atmos, or I should just say Oric computer, or Tangerine computer. I wish I owned one of those. Aquarius, Sam Coupe, TI-99. There's lots of them. I'm just touching the surface. And then there's gaming consoles like Magnavox Odyssey, Atari 2600. You can't see it over here, I don't think, but even the Atari VCS, even though that's a new modern computer, it's got some flair, and if I'm playing an old 2600 game on it, I think that's open and allowed in this new group. 8-Bit Diary is what it's called. So, why did I come up with that name? I was watching a van video the other day, and somebody was keeping a daily journal. I thought that was kind of neat, and I've always wanted to do that for my fly fishing world. Like if I caught a fish, learn how to draw the fish, and make a little story about it. But that's a lot of work, and I never got to that point. But I think maybe I could pull it off for my fascination and love for 8-bit computer. So even though the group is called 8-Bit Diary, I didn't want to call it 18/16/32-bit society, or a diary, I should say. You see, I've got society in my brain. I've been using that word for a long time. So 8-Bit Diary, it's open to any of the older vintage platforms. And vintage doesn't mean 1990s Windows playing Doom. Even in my About section, I say, this group's not for that. There's other groups for it. So if you're a little bit of the underdog, I consider it. The Commodores, the Amigas, the Ataris, the Oric Atmoses, all the 8-bits, any 8-bits, MSX, any of those type, that's welcome in this group. Whether it's a story about it, a picture of it, something time of essence of that date is fine. It's kind of a lifestyle group a little bit. Your 8-Bit Diary, something of old, 70s, 80s, early to mid 90s, as long as it doesn't have to do with Windows, I'm basically fine with it. In terms of gaming consoles, all the old originals, the Atari, ColecoVision, and Television, all those older oddball ones that are made from wherever, if it's an Amstrad one, I think they made a gaming console. I don't own one. Stuff like that. But it's not for newer Nintendo Wii, even though that's old now, getting close to 20 years. It's not a Wii. It's not a Power Station or whatever, Sony PlayStation. Xboxes, this group's not for that. So please don't post those kind of things. Even though they're awesome, they're cool, it's just not what this group is about. The older Nintendo, I think I'm cool with, because that came out in the 80s. And if it's Famicom or an older original Nintendo, yeah, you're welcome to bring up those type of things in the group. I think it'll be fun. I never owned an old Nintendo in the day, so even like the old Sega Master System, that's cool too. This is basically an 8-bit diary, and the reason I created it is kind of a repository for me to start, kind of like Sinclair Society. I put it there because my memory's getting foggy as I get older, so I could post it in this group and have a place to go back and read it years from now, kind of like a diary on what the heck did I just do? What did I do back then? How do I do it again? I go back and watch a lot of my old videos, like, what power supply did I use? I didn't write down on the AC adapter what this for. I'll go back and watch a video and go, oh, it's for this. So those type of things come in handy. So I'm going to make an 8-bit diary group that's going to start off party of one, although I just announced it a couple of days ago, and we're already almost 60 people, I think, already. So very cool. But a place for me to just kind of jot down my diary. And whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, whatever, it's going to start out what it starts out. I have some ideas of things that I'll do later and make it actually more like a diary for myself. With an external website, I did lock in 8bitdiary.com. It's been a long time since I've done a web page, so I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but maybe I'll make a basic web page that points back to this group and put some actual diary stuff on it that's pertinent to what I'm talking about over in the group. So join me in the group, 8-Bit Diary. So if you go to YouTube, not YouTube, well, if you go to YouTube, my YouTube channel stays the same. That doesn't change. I'll continue doing what I do. But on Facebook for the group, it's basically group/8-Bit Diary. So search for it, join, answer the questions. If you don't answer the questions, I typically don't let folks in, because if you don't take the time to at least answer the couple of questions, it tells me that you're not serious about joining the group and having fun and kind of staying loyal to keeping it a fun group. I don't deal with the drama crap. If it's drama, gone. I have enough drama in my life. I don't need it on my personalized Facebook group, where it's just, I want to go there and have fun and talk to friends. And sure, there's going to be some a little bit not heated chats, but chats that people are still being pleasant to each other but have differing opinions. That's perfectly fine. That's life, right? But I'm not there to talk about and dog on any company or any of that stuff. That's all gibberish to me. This is just a fun place to talk about your own 8-bit diary. So if you have something going on in the 8-bit world, /16/32, again, as long as it's not DOS and playing Doom on a Windows box that you created, those are cool, and believe me, I had those in my day, and those were kind of fun, but just not the group. This is mostly about 8-bit, but you can slap in some 16/32. That's what this ST stands for on Atari ST, 1632. It's amazing how many companies, had a 16-bit processor, but then it had a bus speed of this, like the QL. They called it a 32. I think Sir Clive said, oh, this is a 32-bit processor. But it was really kind of an 8-bit because they slowed things down on the bus. But then it was a 16-bit, 6808 or whatever. Anyway, why am I going there? I don't know. I'm making this video at least probably 8 minutes long. So, cheers. Come join the group. I'll put the link down below. And I may splash it on the screen here someplace. But yeah, go to Facebook and join 8-Bit Diary. The group will slowly grow and slowly adjust and form and all that fun stuff. Hopefully you like the group, but I needed a place, an outlet to freely slap out the Ataris and the Aquariuses and the Magnavox and not feel like I'm cramping the Sinclair Society group, and because that really needs to focus on Sinclair. That's what I created it for, and we've got a wonderful following there, and hopefully in time we have many hundreds of people or thousands of people in the 8-Bit Diary. So join, welcome, and have a great rest of your week. It's only Monday. Oh, I hate Mondays. Don't you? I don't like Mondays. I prefer weekends.